LoreWarrior Aerotech, Escape Pod, and Lifeboat. Although dropships are the most important space vehicles within the inner sphere, small craft can perform many operations better than dropships can. Small craft are aerospace vehicles that mass less than 200 tons and primarily are used to carry passengers or cargo. Most small craft are aerodynamic and thus capable of atmospheric flight, as are aerodyne dropships. As few such craft possess the capability to hover, most vehicles need a prepared landing strip to land safely. With a few exceptions, small craft are not designed for combat, and are equipped with only one or two small weapons. Some, like the Mark 7 landing craft, are designed for use in a combat environment, and are well armed and armoured. The Escape Pod. This is a small space vehicle found on board nearly every dropship and jumpship in the inner sphere. It is designed to carry a number of passengers away from a larger ship in danger. The Escape Pod is a 5-ton, teardrop-shaped craft measuring 5.3 meters long and 2.5 meters in diameter at its widest point. At the narrow end of the vehicle is a heavy hatch, while at the opposite end is a small thruster. The thruster burns liquid hydrogen, providing the pod with a limited amount of maneuverability. It has enough fuel to provide a maximum acceleration of half a G for 5 minutes, and is equipped with heat shielding for atmospheric entry and an atmospheric landing system composed of a large glider-like parachute that can be steered from within the craft. It has no landing gear, however, making touchdown very rough. The pod's interior is large enough to carry 4 passengers comfortably and can carry 2 additional persons if needed. With 4 passengers, the onboard food locker has enough rations to last 12 days. However, the life support system will operate for about 20. The interior of the pod provides little room to move about. An automatic piloting computer can pilot the craft in the absence of a skilled pilot, and because most of these systems have been scavenged for use elsewhere, passengers usually have to use the manual control instead, located between the main passenger seats to steer the craft. On the wall, in front of the port passenger's couch, is the pod's life support control panel, and the wall in front of the starboard seat contains the food and medical supply lockers and the pod's main power supply. Next to the seats are rectangular viewports which can be covered on the inside of a sliding plate. Although this doesn't protect the window from breaking, it will keep the pod's cabin from becoming depressurized if the window does crack. Near the entrance hatch of the pod is the control panel for the pod's distress beacon. Once activated, the beacon transmits a standard distress signal that can be detected within a couple of 100 kilometers. It will broadcast the signal once every 5 minutes for 30 days using its internal power supply. Although the pod was designed strictly for emergency use, several have been used as shuttles to ferry people between ships and stations. These have been modified by adding a flight window, which allows better visibility for precise maneuvers. The Lifeboat. Like the Escape Pod, the Lifeboat masses about 5 tons and measures 16 meters long and 2.5 meters wide. At one end of its cylindrical fuselage is the entrance hatch, but unlike the Escape Pod, there isn't a thruster at the other end. In fact, the Lifeboat only has altitude correction jets. Incapable of independent maneuvers, the Lifeboat can only support its passengers long enough for another vessel to pick them up. The craft is designed to carry 6 people in a very cramped amount of space. Enough supplies are carried aboard to keep them healthy for 16 days. The craft's life support system was built to maintain 6 people for 24 days, but the unit has also been reported to function for as long as 30. Most of the Lifeboat's power comes from a solar energy collector sail, very similar to that used by jump ships. The sail provides an endless source of energy for lighting and life support, and can be used to recharge the distress beacon's power supply. Besides providing the Lifeboat with power, the solar energy collector has another purpose. The high energy absorbing photochemical that coats the sail is designed to reflect the electromagnetic frequencies used by deep space tracking systems, making the craft very easy to locate. Yep, so even in Battletech, there are stats which frighteningly mean yes, you could shoot escape pods and lifeboats. So as it says, the escape pod is 5 tons, 5.3 meters in length and 2.5 meters in width, carries 6 passengers at maximum. It even has a drive system, the RSD-1. It was first introduced in 2647. It's quite common as a frequency of sighting. Overall stats, it can move 4 on thrust and 6 on overthrust. And it even has a little bit of armour, 2 on the nose and 2 on the fuselage, whereas the rest of it, the sides and the engine, do not have any armour protection at all. Essentially means it can be very easily blown up. Whereas the Lifeboat is also 5 tons and is 16 metres long and 2.5 metres wide, with 6 passengers maximum again. But this one has 1 armour on the nose, the right and left side, and the engine. It does not have any speed at all. So it literally just hangs there in the blackness of space. Quite a chilling idea. I mean, the design even looks like a kind of like a sci-fi coffin, really, just floating along. It's interesting that they bothered to put these in. It's another good part of the book of dropships and jump ships, just to kind of expand on the smaller vessels, or smaller elements of just space travel in general. So yeah, it's appreciated that they put those things in there. Not much else to say about it, really. As I said, outside of the fact that it's good for GMs who want to be able to introduce these elements. If the players are, I don't know, playing pirates, they might want these, to have these things to shoot down. If they're playing particularly aggressive pirates, or maybe they're contracted to assassinate somebody on from a ship, and they may have escaped, and then they've got to, blow up the pod. It's also useful to know, obviously, for being able to describe for purposes of playing a scenario where one is, burning through atmosphere and players are racing to get to the location to rescue a person or capture a person or persons on board. Those kind of things. This, obviously, the Lifeboat, slightly different scenario, but there's the mystery factor. People being collected in sort of maybe like a kind of Black Ops scenario. A lifeboat that's just drifting out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe players have been tasked with finding them, or players encounter a lifeboat that they don't know where the hell it came from, what ship it was supposed to be on, but it's got a person on board who is, who might be an operative or some other clandestine character that the players then have to kind of figure out whether they can trust this person or just who the hell they are. There's lots of little things you can do with them, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for listening as always. Bye bye.